So going in, it was really hard. As a journalist, I'm also a researcher, and so I am am able to do a lot of research, and I just kept digging, and that's when I learned some things that Netflix is doing to get their stuff out there. Like they use AWS, which is the Amazon system, to distribute their content around the world. I initially saw a friend of mine who is a coder, and I knew he would know people who could at least do an MVP. And so I won a pitch competition. It was $20,000. I used that money to hire a developer to at least do the MVP for Equality TV. And that's how we were able to get the word out about who we are and what we're doing. But it was a huge learning curve. I didn't know anything about trying to get content. Like, how do you get films, right? What do you do to get them? Typically, you go through distributors and you work out deals. I mean, that's what Netflix does. They work out these deals and they get out this little content, pay a lump sum, and they get me, 20 films at one time, and some films are good, some aren't so good, but they lump them all together, right? I didn't really know that either. I was just really trying to figure out. So initially, I emailed film festivals and tried to see if I could work out partnerships and with my ideal, and they were not emailing. To this day, half of them still don't respond to me. And so I decided to go another route. I just started, as a journalist, started contacting filmmakers individually and told them about my ideal and what I was trying to build. And I was hoping that, we would get off the ground. And literally, it's just been a very grassroots type of thing, how we've grown. It's just, me wanting to create this opportunity, and there have been a lot of challenges, whether it's tech or getting new fresh content, customers wanting us to be like Netflix today. Even though I started the company with $20,000, there are always challenges, but we've been able to do quite a bit with very few resources.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to do all that, even with the little resources you've had, and again, the learning curve and going to build that. And that actually goes into my next question, as you was talking about the film and getting films and acquiring films and the distribution. So how does one today, or maybe it's the same way when you first started, pitch a pitch their fresh content to you, pitch their movie or their TV show or their social, whatever they had, their idea to you, and get it on Quelly TV?
So we have a submissions button. If you go to our website and you go to the footer, you will see submit film and show. For us, for at least for films, it have to have been in a film festival. It does have to be Sundance, Tribeca, but it has to be a film festival. The reason we do that is because we were getting a lot of submissions at one point, and some of the submissions were not up to par as far as like the lighting and the audio, like basic things for a film. And so we want to support, up and coming, promising filmmakers, but at the same time, we also want to make sure that, we're offering our customers, quality content. And so the first thing, it has to have been a film festival. And once you have that, basically you go to our website, we kind of lay out, what we need to see for the film to be sent to us. And then if we think it'd be a good fit, then you will hear back from one of us regarding next steps. And we also do take shows as well. Shows, we're not as strict about having to be in the film festival, but I will say this for our shows and for our films. The film can or show cannot be stereotypical. It can't be demeaning. It can't be this monolithic storyline about Black people, right? We're trying to, not to say that it has to be, everything has to be positive, because we know that there are issues happening in our communities around the world, but it just can't be, corrupt politician, and, or a child soldier, or, extreme poverty, I just want to see other things, and so we're trying to make sure that we're showing a variety of stories about the Black experience.
Awesome, awesome. I totally agree with you there. It should be a change in the stories we've been told because we've been told the same stories over and over again. Either again slavery or a guy getting a second chance, or that the only way to make it out here is through the street and this, that, and we got shows like Power and Empire that are still the same black typical. Even with that, though they're making something positive, they're still hitting those negative stereotypes. So there absolutely
Right,
does is a need for a change in the story, and they can't happen until they're written by us. I've read
right.
something that said that until the lion learns to write, the hunter will always be the hero of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So until we start telling our own stories, depending on depending on someone else to tell them for us, we'll always end up being the villain or the negative stereotype. So I totally agree. So what are some of your favorite shows and movies on your streaming service so far? Now that you've built this platform and now that you've got the diversity in there to see your own people reflected in a positive light on your platform. So what are some of your favorites?
Right. So we get this question a lot, and I always tell people that, the film, we're a curator, so the film's like our children. We don't want to play favorites, because my filmmakers like, wait a minute, what about my film? So I hate to actually name specific films, but I will say that we have a lot of really awesome new content on the platform. Our number one genre right now are documentaries. I remember when I started Quilly TV, people were like, oh, you're starting a streaming service, you should have, Ratchet or War Hip Hop and all these things because black people don't want to watch documentaries. But we have a lot of great documentaries on the platform. We have a new film called Mama Africa. She is the famous South African activist and singer. Her documentaries on Quilly TV. Finding Fella was another great documentary about another great activist, from Nigeria. It's on Play TV. The Trials of Muhammad Ali, another great documentary about another activist here in America, as well as famous sports figure icon. We have a lot of really great, content that people can really dive into from children's programming. We have a lot of kids shows. A lot of times when we do, people who are creating some of the things like what Quilly TV is doing, they're really missing a link on kids programming. And we have quite a few shows where the kids, like they're actually real kids. They have little black and brown faces, and they look like the kids that are watching the content. It's not like it's a lion that sounds black, right? Oh, he must be the black person because he has swag, right? It's actual kid who is black, who's learning and going through life and educating other kids who are watching the content. So we have so many children's programming. We have a pretty good sci-fi section as well, which is also very important to me, because we want to show diversity in our programming. There's a short called Afronauts, which is a sci-fi film that's based. It's a U.S. film, but they base it in Africa. There's a film it's actually an anime called Battle Dream Chronicle. It's in French, and the filmmaker is a black man. So we have a lot of great sci-fi as well. Like I said, these are all my films on the Clay TV are great, but I'm just kind of naming the different types of genres that we have, so people can really get a sense of the diversity of the content, especially from other parts of the world. Quite a few films from Brazil, films from Cuba. There's a film called Black in Cuba, a documentary on the platform. There's a doc called about Zora Neale Hurston. There's a really great drama called Kayla, which is it's in Latin America about a young girl who her father is missing, and her goal is to find him. And you really get a chance to learn about the Colombian community it's not a documentary, it's a drama, through the drama. So a lot of great films on the platform that I think people should check out.
That is That is just absolutely awesome. It sounds like a lot of great content and fresh new content. And again, what you were saying about the children, that's a big thing. Not only seeing themselves represented, but seeing themselves represented as actual children on
Hmm.
screen and saying, oh, that's the little black boy. And he looks just like me. It's not a
Yeah,
little hand-drawn, whatchamacallit, with a skinny. No, it's a little black boy that's actually um, in there, and he's acting and he's doing positive things, showing other little black boys and little black girls too that that they can do this and they're not being whitewashed. You know.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And we have, a lot of content from the Caribbean as well. Lots of content from Trinidad, Jamaica. So, our goal is to really showcase all of us.
And that is a great goal, and I really do 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 appreciate that what you have built here. Now, my next question might be a little biased here, but I do want to ask it. Are there any morning shows on your platform, any streaming morning shows? Because I actually noticed that, and maybe that's just a hard thing to get and to do, but I noticed that with a lot of streaming services, none of them have morning shows or options for like a lot of talk shows, except for maybe late night shows that they've recorded or SNL, but they're missing that. So maybe I don't know. Do you have talk shows on your platform, especially morning talk shows specifically?
So we don't have a lot of talk shows, if any. So the challenge is always, if we were to have have shows like that, because something we've definitely been talking about, we would want it to be produced in house, and it's expensive. We don't have original programming yet because it's expensive. So that has probably been like the biggest challenge. Just the reason why we don't have it, the reason why Netflix doesn't have it, who knows? I mean, Netflix is huge. They could, if they wanted to drop, a buck or two on a morning show, they can easily do it. Or Amazon, like they're extremely, wealthy companies. I started Police Review $20,000, and I've gotten a few investments here, very small investments here and there, and so we don't really have the resources to be able to do that. But my goal is to be able to have resources like that, not just on demand but live, like a live stream as well. But we're just not quite there yet. That's the reason why.
Okay. All right. Well, that's actually good to know. I did add something that I did wonder about again for quite a while now because a lot of them are missing the morning shows and the talk shows, and again even Netflix and Amazon and Hulu are missing that, and there's huge brands, but again they also have started because at the beginning of Netflix shows you see the Netflix, or as you're scrolling through you see produced, you'll see them say a Netflix original, so but you are still working on getting those originals and getting the funding for originals. Now, this is the next question. So, how does one invest in quality TV? Do you have any affiliate links or something where others people can help invest in you and help grow your platform? Because we want to see, more of this, more positive black movies, more films and TV produced by us for us.
So we don't have like a link where people can invest in us, but we are considering doing like it's not crowdfunding because when you do crowdfunding, basically here give us $20 and get like a T-shirt or something like that. Right? We want to do something where you actually, if you give us money, you actually get a very small piece of the company, and so that's something we've been considering doing probably sometime in 2020. We're just not doing it quite yet, but once we get there, we would definitely notify people. But right now, there really is no way to invest in us unless it's like a big investor who can write like a pretty significant check and follows like the SEC guidelines for investing.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So you told us about how you started and how we can invest and why we should have the name of the brand. Now, how, of course, the obvious way is through social media, but how can other people help you, again, if it's not monetarily, getting the word out, helping grow this brand, helping grow Quelly, again, it's Quelly TV, KWELI TV. Am I saying that right, by the way? It's pronounced Quelly, right?
TV, KWELI.TV. I used to call it Kweli TV, like Talib Kweli, because I thought that's how you pronounced it. And then some people from Kenya who speak fluent Swahili was like, no, it's Kweli. It's like, it's okay. I wanted to get it right because I want to make sure we're saying it correctly. So you had it right, Kweli TV. But yeah, people can